Hey everybody, sorry about the boxes in the back. I've got to get rid of those. They were from the ATV rake that I put together and am using. This morning I had a little bit of a shift in plans. I was going to go do a property clearing and thinning job, but I got called yesterday for an estimate, and the lady was not expecting the prices I gave, which is not uncommon. I found that a lot of people are calling me and they think, oh, while I'm home, I'll get some work in my yard done. But I don't know what they expect. I guess they expect me to come out and trim a tree for like $200 or something. I don't, you know, and that's not what's going to happen. It's unfortunate. Finding that I'm getting lots of, well, not lots, but a good amount of calls, and then they're just not resolving in anything because people are unsure about finances at the moment. So that's just how it is. I've still got some work, but while I was out at this job, she said that they were looking at redoing her deck because she just bought this house. Once again, a reason that people totally should hire an arborist for a couple $100 and do a pre-inspection on the house before they buy it. Because now I get over there and she's like, yeah, I wasn't sure that this tree was going to survive when we started tearing the deck apart, and I looked at it, and you push the tree, and I'll show you later, the tree down to the ground level moves. It's pushing the dirt up. It's so dead. So I actually had to throw a rope on it last night because we had like a 70-mile-an-hour wind that just barely missed this section, and I'm not sure that the tree would have sustained if the wind had actually hit the tree. And I told her, look, I'll take it down for this amount of money, but it needs to come down tomorrow. And she was like, oh, okay. So now I've got to go take down that tree. It's just really sketchy. It's close to the house. It's not very big, but it would definitely damage her roof if it fell that way. It cost her more money in deductibles or whatever than me just taking it down. And the deck was built around it, and it was resting on the planks of the deck, and that's what was supporting it. They cut that all out, and now there's no support. It has some green on one side, of course, the side leaning toward the house, so it's being pulled that direction, and now the roots, at least on one side, are severed or rotten or whatever, and it's just really unstable. So I threw a rope with a 3-to-1 on it and pulled it away to a neighboring tree across the area, and now I'm going to go pull it out by myself and take it down and use the rope jack and a 3-to-1 system, and we'll see what happens with it. Shouldn't be too much of an issue, but the hinge wood is going to be very unpredictable without a doubt. So yeah, we'll get into that, and then I'll show you guys as we go along. All right guys, so we're here at the job, and as you can see, I use that willow over there to connect the 3-to-1 to. Real quick tip on this, I just used 2 slings out of the Speedline kit. I'm using the Monkey Beaver kit. I'm not sponsored by them. I just bought it. I like the way they have it set up. I like the mollies and everything. So I just used 2 slings with 2 carabiners, and they're just girth hitched in the back to make them long enough so that they saddle that and basket it. And then up here, to keep it super simple without tying knots in the rope. Now this is Scandiria, it's actually a climbing rope, but it got burned one day in friction because I didn't have another option, and I used it as a rigging rope. So now it's just a lightweight rigging or medium rigging rope. But here I just did a girth hitch on that to make that hold, and I clipped a carabiner in it. This is a single action screw, and then I used a micro pulley
which is coming back to my Ultra Sling, or if you're buying from Gap Arbor Supply, the soft anchor rigging sling, the SARS. And I use a notch medium. Oh, I'm sorry, is this a large or a medium? I think this is a large porta wrap to lock it off with. And that's because, as we go up here, that's because this tree here, fruiting bodies, which is an indication, of course, of decay, they had the deck around it. Of course, they cut the deck because they're going to redo the deck, and they were looking at the tree. And the deck on this side was actually supporting the tree, and then when they cut it away, it actually started to move more. And as you can see, this thing, this aspen, pretty much gone. There's a little bit alive up there, and of course it's leaning toward the house, which is bad. And I'm glad that the client mentioned it to me. She mentioned that it was moving a little bit when they undid the deck, and I don't know if it'll do it now because I have it tied off. Can you see that? It's moving at the ground level. It's heaving the dirt, so the roots are probably rotten on this side. And this thing, we had a 60-mile-an-hour wind yesterday. Actually it was 70 in some places, and some people were telling me that it was blowing over stuff, and I was at my friend's motorcycle shop, repair shop in Montrose called Highland Cycles, and it blew over one of his dirt bikes that he had outside. It was so strong. So yeah, it wasn't a small wind by any means, and if it had come through here, which it didn't, I don't know that this tree would have survived it. It probably would have fallen over. And as you can see, it leans that way and that way. So I put the rope on it last night with the 3-to-1 just to lock it off and give it some stability overnight. Now I'm actually gonna notch it and pull it that way toward the tree. So what I'll do is I'll notch it, start a small back cut, hoping it holds, and then I will go yank on the 3-to-1 a little bit more and try to sweat it out and pull it over. So here we go. Just want to update you guys real quick on what's going on. So I am pulling this tree with the rope jack. It's in a situation that I would definitely recommend it because I can't be pulling the 3-to-1 and cutting the tree, and I want to make sure it has a lean out away from the house versus toward it as I cut it, so it doesn't accidentally, with all this rotten wood, stump off and land on the deck and that kind of stuff, right? So caution is needed, and take it slow and easy and just go at it at a pace that you can control to the best of your ability, and use things like the rope jack and a porta wrap plus a 3-to-1 to help out this, and it will do wonders for you. So I am going to make a little bit more cut, and then I am going to pull on this a little bit more and get that hinge through a little bit shallower, and hopefully it'll come on over. You can see right there, sorry there's little branches in the way, but we've got a rope jack here. And don't forget to take your slack in as the rope jack does the pulling. And it may seem like very slow increments, but it's actually doing quite a bit of work for you. In this case, I know the deck's not super important to her, so I'm still not trying to damage it, but I am more interested in the tree coming this way than I am the front of the deck being a little bit damaged. I think I've got a pretty good lean on it coming this way now. Don't forget, because of the camming system this uses, it will strip out the sheathing of the rope if you pull too much pressure on it. So don't overdo the pressure. If you have it within its weight, it will hold the rope, and if you just hold it with your hand there at the back, it'll hold even more because, well, friction. And then don't forget to put tons of wraps, not because it needs it to hold it, but because it relieves the pressure on your half hitches that you do, not like that, that's not a half hitch, that's a half hitch, that you do on these ends, and that way you can take them off easy. So let's go back to the tree and see what's happening. It's definitely moving, and we want it to continue to go that way, and I can see that it is. So I'm going to cut a little bit of a relief in the hinge. That wedge wasn't even holding, so that's good. There you have it. I knew that this was really thick on this side. I wanted it that way. Hinge, you can tell this is pretty much the only live side on the trunk, which is what we were talking about yesterday together. That's why I left that really thick, because I didn't trust it at all, and I know I could pull it over. You can even see the splitting and fracturing and things from the debris. I mean the decay. Got to get my wedge out of there. So yeah, definitely something that could easily go wrong if you're not paying much attention and going slow. I don't like to go too fast on these kinds of things. And now I'll just stump that down as low as I can. Get that put in the trailer. I'm not chipping today here because it was just easier to bring just the trailer, and I figured it would fit, and we'll go from there. All right guys, that's about it. So hope it was informative for you. And yeah, not a huge tree, but definitely a technical tree, if you want to call it that in that sense. Just lots of going on with it, and just go slow. Use the tools that you have, and if you didn't have like a rope jack, you could have done it by pulling and a prusik and various things like that. A rope jack really is handy for this kind of stuff. It's already made its money back for me. I didn't know if I would like it at first. It was a bit stiff and hard to use, but it's actually been really handy now that it's broken in. And I don't use it on every job. I don't even use it on every 10th job, but when I need it by myself, it comes in super handy. So if you do a lot of small, medium removals by yourself or something like that, leaners close to houses, it can be a really handy tool. So hope you guys enjoyed it. You can check the rope jack out at gaparboristsupply.com. Of course, they sponsor my channel and me, so please go by and check them out. Ray and Kyle know what they're doing, and of course in this time of COVID, everybody can use your help. So small business definitely relies on our community as an industry, go check them out. Also, don't forget to check out Elevated Office Podcast, and you can find that on any podcast distribution site that you use. So go check that out, and I will see you guys in the next one.